5, 4, 3, 2, 1, action! Sort of starts a little bit different. How you doing?
Different it was.
Yeah, it was different. I don't know if I'll keep that, but anyway, today's topic is it natural for every bloke to be a hunter? So we're going to dig into that and talk about a few of our own tales.
And don't forget about the females as well.
Oh, yeah, I'll get myself in serious trouble.
Again.
I'm not being chauvinistic, but, on the whole, hunting is dominated by men. Having said that, I know probably one of the best hunters I know, or huntresses, to be correct, would be Kim Swan, who's, she out-hunt most blokes, so.
Definitely out-hunt me.
Yeah. So, we'll kick straight into it. Obviously, not every man enjoys hunting, but why? And where does it come from? Your spin on that.
Well, I think going way back, caveman time, everyone used to hunt, or be part of the hunt, I suppose, is the main thing. So they might not have been out there running the animal down, but they were certainly back in the camp helping out or carting that produce back to the camp. So, but I think over the years, and obviously a lot of years.
Yeah, how many years are we talking there? We're talking thousands, aren't we?
Thousands of years.
And that's something that people got to get in their minds is in the time period, we've evolved as hunters over thousands of years, really, eh?
My view would be it's detuning a lot of people along the way. It's gone just with it's been removed as society's grown and you've got modern cities and the tundra's gone. I suppose you're not chasing the animals down. You're living in these bigger communities. It's just going out of the hunters that used to go out. They're not.
Oh, it's got crazy.
Yeah,
it's got really crazy. I mean, today it's actually considered a crime to show what we do. I mean, you think about it on a YouTube channel like mine, which is a hunting channel. I'm actually a restricted channel now, and all the other channels are put on restricted because it's considered somehow bad for advertising or bad to see. Yet it's the most natural thing we've evolved doing, which kind of just crazy. You can look at other stuff. We're getting off the topic a bit, but you can look at other stuff that's, I think's bad. You can show war and you can show all these games, or you can show like rap music with like derogatory things against women, promoting drugs, and that gets shown. But you show hunting and
yeah, definitely.
Don't show how to gut a pig or a deer. Oh no, not something that's useful to get meat.
No blood and guts is allowed to be shown these days. They're starting to control everything that we see and. Who's they? Well, they would be Google.
It's
the Truman Show. Did you ever see it?
I didn't, but I've heard about it. Yeah, but it's true what you're saying. We're getting away from it, but if you say are looking for something online, suddenly like you're looking to buy a new boat, suddenly there's a whole lot of boats coming up. So we're all being pushed away from hunting, pushed away from our natural thing. It's all about marketing, and that's what it is. And it's actually sad because if you go to a country like Japan, they have been hunting wild boar for years, using dog and knife, and deer for that matter, which is interesting. And today, the new generation don't want to know about it. Why is that? Well, it's a push away from it. And now they have a problem in places where pigs are out of control, and they have to employ people to go and hunt them, which you and I would do just gladly to put some meat on the table.
I just dream about Texas.
Texas, oh yeah. Take me down Texas, boy. Hell yeah, we're going to get ourselves a hog. I love the way they talk down there. We're going to get ourselves a hog.
Heli hog hunting. That's.
Oh no, that's new level. That's you, not me.
That's me, mate. Heli hog hunting.
No, not me. I want dogs on the ground. See, you're different. You just want to kill everything. You're something wrong there, man. You're another level.
It's helping them out. Helping them out. It's a problem.
It is a problem. That's a different type of thing. Yeah, I know you'd love that, blitzing everything from a helicopter. Yeah, see, the pig hunter in me wants to see my dogs catch those pigs. We're getting away from the topic a bit again, but he's right. It's pretty amazing what they do. And they have to, because it actually destroys their crops, destroys everything.
It's amazing, man. Millions and millions and millions
of dollars. Pigs are prolific breeders. They can have a litter after 6 months, and then all their babies within 6 months can have litters up to 9 to 10, 12 pigs. And if you do the math on that, they explode just like rabbits. Anyway, getting back to the topic of this, is it natural for every bloke to be a hunter? And of course, the obvious answer to that is no, because we all know the bloke that doesn't like hunting. I've got a brother that hates the idea of going hunting. He'll eat meat till the cows come home. He'll eat meat to Africa, but he won't go and kill something. He's happy for me to kill something and give it to him, but he won't. And us hunters have got this really bad habit of dissing the non-hunters, which is just stupidity on our part, because we all need different jobs being done in our community, and we did back when we were evolving, as you were talking, as Troy was talking before about the caveman days. We'd run the animal down because this is the way we're built. We sweat, animals don't. We'd run them until they were exhausted and literally go up. They'd be splayed leg, tongue hanging out. We'd go up and cut their throat. Or if it was a case of the big mammoth, we'd roll a big rock down onto them, and then we had to get that meat back home. So we couldn't leave it there because all the other scavengers would scavenge it.
So, and then you have to obviously get the whole village there.
Yeah.
To cart it back.
Get the woman folk in.
If it was a big hunt, it could be a long, long way away from where you were.
Yeah.
Get back to the old camp.
Part of us men is bonding, and we bond by hunting. Today it's replaced with sport, rugby clubs, and you might be any sort of team event. Campfire stories,
yeah.
Play talk stories. We do this through hunting so much better though, because we rely on each other to get the objective, which is, or to achieve the objective at least, and bring that meat home to everybody else and share it.
I think a lot of, if you look at a lot of the things modern society do, like rugby,
yep,
soccer, whatever, basketball, it's a team environment. And to me, when you look at it and then look back in the old hunting days, it was a team environment.
Totally.
Everyone was in it. And I think that's sort of, there's a link there. There's
absolutely a link
big
there.
Group of people doing this.
Yep.
They're not killing things. They want to kill some things on the field sometimes, but they don't.
The All Blacks against the South Africans, sometimes they want to kill something.
Definitely.
Thinking about rugby players, I talked about Mark Ellis a while ago, and we watched his famous movie that was on chasing the cheese down the hill. I think it was in Scotland, the rolling cheese, and they all got to chase it.
Chaser.
The great cheese chaser. And it's a real strength. You've got to have so much strength to get it, and you've got to be committed, and you get hurt, and you've got to be tough, and he's all of those things. He's a real bloke. And he won that competition. Yet I saw him in another movie where he was hunting a pig, and they caught the pig, and at the end of it he was going, "Oh, it's a sad day, man." He just felt sorry for the boar that had been killed, and I'm going, "What's going on here, mate?" He's one of those blokes that in the village would have stayed behind, protected the woman from the other guys coming in to rape and pillage while the other men were out hunting. So
he would have been making cheese.
Making cheese probably. Or picking berries with the ladies, and probably having a shitload more fun with the ladies while the guys were out hunting.
Yeah, right. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. So you needed to have non-hunters for us to evolve, and that's why us hunters should really look at non-hunters as an important part of all of us together and not bag them. Vegetarians and vegans that just hate hunting, I've got no problem with those guys so long as they're not dissing us and also using our products like feeding their little cat pet food or wearing leather or having a bit of bacon or something. So a story that you could share that would illustrate a non-hunter that you've met before, something that's come up that has turned out to be a hunter. You have a story like, because we've all got stories like that. I can think of a story like that. You've seen someone turn around?
Yeah, I've seen out fishing. You take someone that doesn't normally go out fishing.
Right.
And a bit of a special treat to go out there and
that's with you, because you always catch heaps.
Catch a fish. Well, I wouldn't say that. It's like anything. You always get a highlights reel on YouTube and social media.
True, yeah.
So I certainly don't catch fish every trip, that's for real. And yeah, so you take someone out and you see the instinct. If you catch, especially like we go into the kingfish, obviously that's what we do, and get one up close to the boat, and then next thing it starts to splash around, that person's sitting at the back watching, and then next thing, as soon as it starts splashing around and gaffs start coming out, they're all over it.
All over it. The adrenaline starts flowing.
Yeah. So it's a
Kicks
mindset,
in.
it's changed, it's the old cat and mouse. So yeah,
it kicks in.
Definitely...
It kicks into all of us. And a very quick story, my Uncle John used to be really good friends with my dad. He's dead now, Uncle John, but one time they went off hunting, and Uncle John hated the idea of killing anything. He couldn't even kill a fly. He was like just a real animal lover, yet he'd eat meat. And Dad said, "Come out for a pig hunt sometime." And he was like, "Oh, no, couldn't do that. Don't want to be involved in killing." Dad says, "You'll be fine." So Dad gave him his 303 to carry, just to make him feel like he was part of the hunt, like you do when you take non-hunters out sometimes. "Here, carry this, mate," and they sort of feel like a bit of, out in the bush there.
Is that why you give them the pigs afterwards to carry out? Just so that they feel part of the hunt.
Absolutely.
You carry that 120-pound boar, good on you, mate.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, get it on your back. It's part of hunting, and you get to have a break. So Dad was up the top of the hill. Dogs had a good pig, and a little pig broke loose, about a 30-pounder, straight towards my Uncle John. And he had Dad's 303, in his hand. It was an old ex-army 303 they used to use.
Full wood.
Full wood. It was a long time he had cut down. And this little pig came running towards him, And just out of the blue, he just went smack, and he smashed it in the head, like on the track. And Dad had seen it as he was coming down towards him. He was like, "Whoa, John, what are you doing?" And the other John goes, "Oh, I don't know what happened. I just saw it, and suddenly I just," and he couldn't work out why he'd done it.
It's that instinct, isn't it?
Just kicked
that
in.
Instinct. Yeah.
Yes, he's a non-hunter who loves animals, and suddenly, boom. And I think the hungrier you get, the more this prey drive comes out.
Yep.
And you see it in people in situations. If you go away in the bush for a few days, and I've had this with young blokes too, you go away for like a few days and food's a bit scarce and everybody's prey drive goes up, gets higher and higher. It's a natural thing. But the guts of this really is it natural for every bloke to be a hunter? And I think we can assume it's not.
No. But I think it's natural for every person to be part of the hunt.
Mm.
So they may not be the hunter themselves, but they'll be part of the gatherer. Yeah.
One of the things that human beings do, and I know because I've received so much negative hate mail from anti-hunters and things, is we put our human emotions onto stuff. We don't look at the food chain of what it is. We don't go, well, the rabbit's there so that the wolf can feed or the hawk can feed her babies. We don't look at the goats, the herbivores, and go, they're there so the predators have something to feed on. Some people just look at them more like a Disney story, like, oh, they're lovely, look at the lion, and nature.
Poor Bambi.
Poor Bambi.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, and Bambi would be a classic story. Walt Disney really has a lot to blame for that, but people would look at animals and they hate on us because they attach their human emotions to it. But if you look at nature is horrific. What goes on amongst animals? A pack of wolves will eat an animal. They'll eat the flesh of it while it's standing up. They'll tear the strips off it. They'll eat it. They'll take an elephant and they'll kill it slowly because it's a big animal. They'll chew bits off it like a baby elephant. I saw a video on that once. Everything will get slowly killed. There's nothing really like a quick death unless it's the cheetah going for the jugular. Most of the time when you've got hyenas or wolves, it's not a fast death.
No.
And we human beings generally inflict pretty quick death on animals. It's either a bullet or it's a knife to the heart. Most of the time it's reasonably fast. Yeah, we still get hated on.
I think a lot of it is exactly what you're saying with the Walt Disney thing and like Bambi, something like that. So they try to put a personality, I suppose, behind the animal, and I guess most of them do have personalities.
They do. Animals do have personalities.
Yeah.
They
so
do.
but we don't get to see it, and they dress them up like they'll make an animal talk, for example.
Yeah.
Well, we know they can't speak. They speak in their own language, but not in our language.
You haven't heard Poe, man. She's like trying to talk. That's my pig dog, Poe.
Birds are an exception. Parrots.
Yeah, birds are.
Yeah. But and you start looking at that and think, well, is it like a person? Is it, and that I think that's sort of where the connection starts coming. So if you start looking at altering that perception by killing them, all of a sudden people get upset about it and they say, well, that's actually a human or something like that. And I think that's where it steps over.
Totally.
Versus getting struck down in the wild by a wild animal or a pack of animals out in the field.
Absolutely. Mostly hunting is dominated by men and always has been, but there are plenty of women hunters out there today and very good women hunters. Going back to how we evolved, women probably played a very big role in getting the meat back home to the camp, and today it's really changed a lot the way we hunt today, but still we have to have that transporting the meat back to the camp, getting off the hill, and that's where groups of men going off to hunt, as we still do today, is really helpful, and we work together as teams. Not everybody enjoys hunting that I've taken out hunting. I've taken plenty of people out that are just not for them, and never going to do it again, that was good, but thanks, not me, mate. Some people are really emotionally upset by the kill. I've seen this. I've seen people really struggle with it. I've seen men go white, and I've also seen men who were the most passive people just become bloodthirsty killing machines that just can't get enough of it.
Just switch on and that's
switch on in the other way. So it's in our DNA. It's in who we are, but not all of us are meant to be the actual ones that do the hunting part.
I see a lot on the fishing side of it. I think most of the people that don't get it or don't enjoy it mainly is an environmental aspect of it, where they get seasick, and all of a sudden that I need to go and kill something, does get turned off pretty quickly.
Yes,
and
yes,
it's like,
yeah.
I need to survive now.
Yeah, I'm in survival mode.
I'm in survival mode.
Well, you've been
So
seasick, you're in survival mode, it's horrible. Yeah.
That animal can run away. I'm going to go and hide somewhere else. So,
Yeah.
So it does. You can switch it off and on.
There's also the aspect of hunting. Trophy hunters have destroyed this quite a bit. The ones that hunt prey animals like lions and rhinoceroses and things that are becoming extinct. That's caused a lot of hate towards hunters, and people have created their own opinions on it. A lot of those people are completely unaware of the biodiversity of those particular countries or what's going on in there. It's like New Zealand. A lot of people go, how could you do that? Well, in New Zealand we have no natural predation on four-legged animals. We have nothing at all. Possums. Well, possums are an introduced species. We have nothing that predates on them, do we?
No.
So we have to get rid of them. Pigs, deer, us hunters play a major role in keeping the nature. I mean, they're out of control. And then we've of course got rats and stoats and hedgehogs and everything else introduced. So we're actually really important, but people don't see that. They just see an animal dying. They don't see what damage those animals do to our environment, to our eco. The whole system gets destroyed by all of those.
And a big one on that they don't see, so they don't really care too much about it. Take the tahr for example. And, they've just killed 10,000.
Yep.
So just gone up and just shot them up in the hills. Yep. They have taken some of those animals out, but most of them just got left up there. Now that could have been a good resource for hunting or whatever, but because it's in the back blocks, people don't really see too much about it. And I think most of the uproar around that's probably from the hunters, seeing that it's animals that have been taken out. But go up and see what Dot shows you. The damage is unbelievable.
They absolutely destroy it, hey? Absolutely destroy it. There are places around where Doc have done incredible work, like on Adele Island. The bird life there is prolific because there's no rats on it.
Yeah.
How the hell they get rid of all the rats? It's normal for some people to not want to hunt, and thank God for them, because it means more hunting for you and me.
And I think if you expose those people that don't hunt so much to it, I think their natural instincts will start clicking in, and maybe they will pick it up. It's like you go and put them on a farm for 6 months and see what happens.
Yeah.
Then take them out and see what
I
happens.
don't want to expose them to it because I don't want to share my hunting blocks.
No.
I've got too many guys hunting my blocks. Oh, the hunter in me's talking again. That's another topic in itself, hunting blocks. How us men, it's the same with your fishing spots, how they become so sacred to us. That's for another day.
I haven't got a bit of paper that says you can't fish here though, like what you guys have.
Well, yeah. I think it's called a permit. So, your thoughts on whether you think it's natural? I think you probably agree with us, but if you think it's absolutely not natural, and you can put a good reason why, your opinion, I want to hear your opinion. I love having vegetarians and vegans come to my site. Your comments can be entertaining. I'm not saying that to be rude, but they can be quite entertaining. But sometimes you guys come up with some things that really get me thinking, and I love being challenged. Some would argue today that we're evolving past this, and put some good stuff on the table as to why. I'd be keen to hear that. Overall, I believe it's a natural part of our DNA, and it's a part I embrace.
It'll be interesting to think what's it going to be like, say, in 200 or 300 years from now, if society keeps building into mega cities and we don't have all that hunting. What's going to happen to people like us?
I'll tell you what will happen in these years to come, because of the way the world's going. This is my spin, and we're getting off the track of the theme a bit here, but because of the way it's going, so many animals are going extinct all the time. Once those animals are gone, then we're next. I don't think we'll be around, to be honest, and I think the world will start again. She'll be okay without us, and a lot of species, including us, will be lost, and it'll start off again. I think we're a dying race. I think we've exploded so much, the population. What will be left when the shit hits the fan here is the hunters will survive. You know yourself that if tomorrow there was no food in the supermarket, you know yourself if this house got blitzed, you could build a hut, you could go out there, you could, with your skills that you've got, you could find meat and you could survive. And suddenly all the haters that don't like us hunters would become very useful, you know. Because
it's funny, we were talking about that last week, and we said, you know, if or when, I guess it's when now, when this big earthquake does happen in New Zealand.
Which we're expecting in the Hope line here.
Yeah. And
we're overdue for action.
Well overdue. So, or a natural disaster of some sort, could be, you know, whatever. The people that do get up, like you say, normally are the hunters and people that can look after themselves. I remember watching the big, what was it an earthquake?
Earthquake in Christchurch?
And the amount of people that jumped up and down and said, oh, the government's not looking after us.
They're just sat waiting for help, waiting for help.
Waiting for that. It's like,
get off your
I
ass.
just sit there and I go, I'd be out there getting a tarpaulin, making a shelter, gathering up my food, trying to
Getting your resources.
Don't open the freezer, keep that
Yep.
locked down for as long as possible,
Yep.
and just try and gather what you can to,
I know.
to get by yourself.
Exactly what you're saying.
That's what's going to happen. When the shit hits the fan, you're going to be by yourself, and so you're going to need some skills out there to be warm, be dry,
And eat.
and have some food.
Protein's going to be important. Think back to when we were young fellas and we used to hunt all the time, like possuming and deer stalking. We would go in the bush for 2 or 3 weeks and survive so easily on nothing.
Yeah.
We'd find food in every little crevice. Shelter wasn't a problem. It took probably half an hour to make a decent shelter you could sleep in, and you had warmth. You knew what sort of wood. You knew how to get a fire going when it was pouring down the rain. In a rainy day like today, you'd have a warm fire and all your clothes dried out, and you'd have food very, very quickly. You'd find it in all sorts of manner of ways which most non-hunters haven't got a clue about. So we probably would last. Us older buggers would struggle. It's the younger guys that had probably, mind you, our sort of brains would probably be the tool we'd be using. This is an interesting topic. We'll wind it up and just say, let me know what you think on this, because it's one that I'm interested in, eh?
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
It goes very, very deep into who we are. Good luck with your own hunting or your non-hunting, and be good. If you cannot be good, be careful. I want to pan around before we go and just show you the view outside of Troy's window here. He lives in paradise, I reckon. He can actually see my place from here. It's raining, as you can see outside, but look at that. Richmond over here, and airport out there. Got a couple of ducks flying right past you here now, and you can take them from the veranda. Boom, boom, duck tonight just flew past.
Right on the flight path there for them.
Yeah, for the ducks. Oh, I don't see any reason why you couldn't get the old shotgun out with me, bro.